things are getting weirder, it seems like, by the day. In the last year since Trump got into office, the amount of protests and just things that kind of make you go, have, at least from my perspective, seem like they've increased. Maybe it's manufactured, maybe it's not. I don't know, but I am curious with somebody like us, I would say, in terms of background and perspective of having worked with or for the government, knowing a lot of people who have been in just about every echelon of the U.S. government and a lot of people who have represented the United States all over the world in a host of capacities. I do think that there's a valuable and pretty well-rounded perspective in a guy like yours to get your take on some of the things that are taking place, most notably just because it's the most relevant right this second, is when you see the current strikes in Iran. I'm curious, what do you think the real objective is, and does it line up with what we're being told?
My knee-jerk reaction to all, as soon as I saw that, was just huge distraction.
Most notably from the Epstein stuff, you think?
100%.
Yeah.
Like the fact that all of a sudden aliens are real. Oh, by the way, we're starting a war with Iran.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, it seems a little bit too on the nose to me. Now, are they a problem? Yeah, they're a problem. We know that they're state actors and behind the scenes of everything that's been going on for the last 30 plus years. Mm-hmm. But I think there's bad guys in the regime. Yeah, they're bad people. My hope was that the youth, and I say youth, it's probably what, 40s and under in Iran would take care of itself. I was hoping that they would, and actually I just had this conversation with my wife. I was like, I really, before we our government attacked them, I literally said, I was like, I honestly think that it will be the youth of Iran that takes care of Iran, because they don't want it. They want it to go back the way it was. They want a secular country. And I would imagine that there are, people within our government that are pulling the strings behind the scenes on that and helping them. But the fact that we did what we did, or doing what we're doing, man, it's so hard for me to think anything other than distraction. Are there going to be benefits long term? Sure, there could be, but there also could be, it also could be worse. The devil you know is sometimes better than the devil you don't know. But again, it just goes back to, I think that this is just one massive distraction. The same thing as, them coming out about the talk, like they won't stop talking about UFOs and aliens. I mean, at this point, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're trying to take over the planet, or you can like set one on a dissection table and show everybody, it's like, what difference does it even make?
It doesn't.
I am curious. Have you watched the series Homeland? Have you seen that show?
I think I saw the first season. It was one of those deployment watches.
What's interesting, there's 8 seasons. Mm-hmm. I marvel at how accurate or how realistic it is in some ways. Obviously, there's plenty that's not, but I think from like a technical advisory standpoint, on the broad scale, or like the 30,000 foot view, they actually get a lot of things scarily accurate in terms of almost predicting things. Most notably, season 7.
Programming, you mean?
Yeah. So in the 7th season, there's a female president that gets elected, and she's going through kind of a similar thing. It's not sex trafficking related, but it's a domestic optics issue where, she kind of ran on being, anti-foreign policy and softer and, more civil rights oriented or whatever. And then like there's an assassination attempt, and she goes completely sideways the other way and cracks down on everything. And they end up doing a strike in Iran or not Iran. Here I am fucking getting all discombobulated. Does a strike in Syria to distract from that for the same reason.
What's going on domestically.
Yeah. It's just like, dude, how crazy like parallel is that? Like it's the exact thing that we're seeing right now. I mean, it's wild.
But here, like I'm not so naive to think that Venezuela is not a threat to the United States. They're probably one of the that country, because of location and assets, is one of the greatest threats to the United States. I think Iran's a threat to the United States and Western, culture in general. So I'm not naive to that.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to believe that that the way it's going about it is the only way to go about it.
Agreed. I'm right there with you. Like, I think two or five things can be true at once.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that there was at least intent or even a decision made to do it at some point during this 4-year period while he still could. But yeah, I think the timing is beyond just a coincidence. And
you know what's interesting that I find that about this go around with the public, and maybe it's just the close circle that I keep, even in the internet, the close circle that I allow into my brain, is that people are not buying it as much. Mm-hmm. It seems like for the first time, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's my perception, for the first time, people are seeing it as what it is.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's kind of the cried wolf too many times thing.
Right.
There's been too many examples just in the last year, or especially 5. I mean, we'll say go back to COVID.
Right.
I think the way COVID transpired over that few-year period opened a lot of people's eyes, that I think wouldn't have been opened if that hadn't happened.
They played too hard too fast.
Yeah, and then you see other things. You see like the Charlie Kirk stuff and just, all these different kind of things that people notice and are paying closer attention to. And that coupled with the fact that, pretty much everybody walking around has a 4K video camera in their pocket all the time. And the internet and, hacking and, files being released or being hacked that nobody thought would ever see the light of day.
Yep.
And, so I think when you combine all those things, yeah, I agree. I think the overwhelming general population is far less naive and a lot more skeptical to what they're being told.
Which I'm all for. I think the age of authenticity is here. I think it's coming.
Yeah.
I think it's coming. I think it's here. I think people are craving that, and I think that they realize that 99% of the stuff that's out there is complete horseshit.
Yeah. Do you think that the fact that basically the first year and a half, 2 years of Trump's second term has played a role in that? It's kind of a flip of a coin come November as to whether or not Republicans will have all three, the executive and the entire legislative branch. Do you think that that's playing a role in the hurried up timeline of trying to get as much done before November as possible?
I think I do. I agree with that, just because he has not been able to do. The reality is not being able to do what he said he's wanted to do fast enough. Now do I see a lot of people are, hating on him because of whatever. And I'm like, I see it from a different point of view. Not that I'm, a fan either one way or the other. But when you're talking about the economy, you're talking about changing the foundation of our country. Like, it's not going to happen in a year and a half.
Yeah.
It's just not. Like, our shit is all fucked up. And it's going to take time. You can't course correct that in 4 years. Like, we've been running it into the hole for decades. And so, like, to change the economy, to change our financial system, to kind of right the wrongs of all these politicians of, multiple decades is going to take more than 4 years.
Yeah. One of the things I see as a recurring theme, whether it's on social media, mainstream media, just talking to people, across the country, there's definitely a recurring theme in terms of accusation of Israel playing a huge role in us doing it, in a lot of the Epstein stuff. Do you have an opinion on that?
I'll say this. It doesn't look good. And there are bad people everywhere. There's bad people in our country. There's bad people in Israel. There's bad people in Iran. There's bad people everywhere. The things that are coming out, especially in conjunction with the Epstein files, paints a really ugly picture. And if it's true that we are literally just being a puppet for Israel, that's unsettling. And the data does not look favorable for us.
Yeah. In terms of the Iran component, I mean, there was I don't know if it's accurate or not. I've seen it kind of go both ways, but there was a specific clip. And I know it's the classic, it was taken out of context, which is like everybody's excuse for walking something back. But there was a soundbite from Rubio that said that they kind of forced our hand, that they were going to do it anyway. And we knew that if they did, that we were going to be attacked. So we didn't want to just be sitting on our hands and wanted to minimize that as possible. I mean, that's a pretty shitty thing to hear. It
is a shitty thing. But how do we know that's even accurate?
Yeah, you don't.
Like all of this stuff, and I've gotten to a point now where with all of it, the Epstein shit the kid stuff bothers me. Like I went down a rabbit hole a while back. It was recently, and I was like, I got to get out of here. This is this is some gnarly shit. But I keep coming back to, there's so many people consumed with all of it, right? And you have fuck all to do with it. And you can't change it at all. None of it. Like you worrying about it and you being upset about it does nothing for you.
Yeah, especially for the people that, to your point, are not only consumed, but spend, a ridiculous amount of time every day arguing with people. It's like, if you put that amount of time into just setting the example that you want other people to live by, like the whole country would be 10x better.
And I literally, it's funny, I used, as a thought experiment, I said, I wanted to look at the second, third order effects in the country as if every father in America got fit. What would the second, third order effects be? And it was wild. Wild, the trickle down effect of what it would do to the family, what it would do to the communities. And that's kind of like, to your point, it's like, how about you just, that energy that you're on Fox News or you're on CNN, like bitching, if you put that into yourself and into your family, every single individual just took their own responsibility and did that. Then how would things change? And then would it change from the bottom to the top?
I think it would. I think
would
it would
affect politics.
Yeah, because at that point, the main lever of leverage doesn't exist.
Right.
Control. Because I mean, now some people would argue, well, you can't ignore it, bury your head in the sand, and nothing will change. It's like, well, for years, people have been doing what has been taking place, and that's obviously not changing anything either. So to me, like that's not an excuse to not try something different.
But if we're sitting here saying all of this is a distraction, then the gross populace is so focused on everything that's going on, isn't that exactly what they're wanting?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if the counter argument that some would have to what you and I are saying people should do is focus on themselves, is that, it's like the people that, I don't pay any attention to politics. The counter to that is, well, you're going to be ruled by idiots then because you don't know enough of what's going on to even stop it.
How are you going to stop it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, you take accountability and control of your own life. I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying that's what some people would say.
How's your life going?
Yeah.
Why don't you focus on your shit?
Yeah.
How are your kids and wife doing?
Yeah.
How's your bank account look?
Get your own house in order.
Get your own house in order.
Yeah.
But I mean, but again, like, I'm not just talking about get your own house in order. I'm talking about everybody get their house in order.
Right.
And if everyone actually did that and stopped looking at the shiny object that they're putting in front of us, it's like the Coliseum thing. Just entertain the masses.
Yeah.
Give them wine, give them entertainment.
That's the bitch of it, I think, is it's been millennia that's been taking place.
And it's not that I don't care. I care deeply.
Yeah.
I care deeply for the country. I think that, I mean, you and I have been to war, man. It's like, war is hell. It's horrible. The stuff that happens there is awful. So I do give a shit. but I can't do anything about it. And me focusing on it does no good. Meanwhile, wherever your energy goes, or wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. So if we're focused on it, and that's all we're focused on, then we're not focused on the things that matter the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The one thing I will say that really chaps my ass about the whole thing is that nobody to date has been arrested for it that I'm aware of.
None.
Which to me is mind-boggling. You know, at this point, with the amount of evidence, the amount of even just the files that have been released, which is a fraction of what actually exists, but the Department of Justice has access to all of it. Why has nobody been arrested?
My question is, who would arrest them?
Yeah, they'd be arresting themselves, which is why nobody's been arrested.
You know, you ever had Victor Marx on?
I haven't. I mean, I'm familiar with him, but
yeah, he posted something talking about why they would never fully be released. And I before he posted this, I said, I don't think they'll ever fully be released, because it would cause I think it would cause an entire society collapse. And whoever has the access to those files, the unredacted files, what they have is now leverage.
Yeah.
So if you can't collapse the whole system, right? And everybody's like, we'll let the whole system burn. I mean, you say that until there's no more gas in America. There's no more food at the grocery stores. Like, what kind of a collapse are you talking about?
Right.
Like, you say that, but are you willing to, like, if you don't have land and you are self-sufficient as a family and you live off the system that we live in, like, it's real cute for you to say, oh, let the whole system burn.
Yeah. It's usually those people that, you know, so easily or willy-nilly say something like that are the first ones to bitch when DoorDash is 4 minutes late.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
So, like, if you're willing to go that route, like, I'm down. Like,
yeah.
I'm
you
down.
got to be ready for the whole thing.
But you got to be ready for the whole thing.
Yeah.
So from a global standpoint, they won't allow that to happen. So then the people that do have this, they do have it as leverage.
Yeah. Yeah. Circling back to Iran, is there a point at which you see it completely unraveling? Is that boots on the ground? Is it indefinite airstrikes? Is there a...
The one thing I'll say about Trump is he's never been one. Up until this point, he's never been a commander-in-chief that has had the intention or the desire to send 18-year-olds boots on the ground. He's always used the military as a very, very strategically. As you know, what people don't know is he employs special operations heavily. And he uses strategic assets, you know, air, drones, et cetera, you know, collection, to manipulate the battle space. I appreciate that. I wrote a white paper called Long-Term Conflict in Afghanistan, and talking about the drawdown of Iraq and the correlation between contracts in Iraq and contracts in Afghanistan, the surge in Afghanistan, the wind down in Iraq, and then all of a sudden the surge in Afghanistan, and where the contracts were happening simultaneously, plus the death tolls. So you can Google long-term conflict in my name, and there's all of the studies, all of the references are in there, and there's a correlation between the two. I've always had a problem, even when I was in special operations, had a problem in an asymmetrical environment watching young men do presence patrols in those countries and what we called knock and talks. The same dumb shit we did in Vietnam towards the end of Vietnam. And it's what killed a lot of Americans. So I've always appreciated that he's never pulled that trigger. I really hope that he doesn't.
Yeah. Do you think that in what seems like a big intended consequence of the entire thing is a pro-Western full regime change of guard? Do you think that is possible with shock and awe, extended air campaigns, HUMINT, special ops on the ground, et cetera?
You know, in one side, I think that there's an entire generation of people over there that want to be liberated, like that truly want to be liberated. Not like Iraq, that was horseshit. I think there's an entire generation of people in Iran that want that. Now, does that benefit America the way that they want? I don't know. Would it be good for the people of Iran? Probably. But if we're the ones doing the strikes and putting people in place and trying to play puppet master, is that going to be what they want, or are we going to build it the way that some government official some guy at the State Department that's building foreign policy wants?
Yeah, I think you have to draw a line further back than what most people in the government where they would want to draw it as far as that goes. Like, it can't be a puppet. It can't be a propped up guy. We saw that in Afghanistan and Iraq. It doesn't work. I agree. Like, I sure as hell hope that there's not ever legit conventional boots on the ground there, because I think that's going to be an absolute nightmare.
And then if we play it the way that we've done, if history fucking repeats itself here, then are we just creating another insurgency?
Yeah, for sure we are. Yeah.